Right. We need to talk about King Arthur. And I come from afar. I want to ask here the two of you to enlighten me about King Arthur, because I've read some rumors lately about him being a gay icon. And,
obviously you have, yeah.
and I want them to be addressed, because I heard some things that, first of all, look at this. Why is this statue full of holes?
Well, so the reason for this is that King Arthur is a kind of semi-legendary king of the Britons who was resisting the Saxon invasion of Britain in the 5th century AD, so like 1,500 years ago. And because it's during the fall of the Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire, and the withdrawal of the Romans from Britain, and then the mystery of the events because they're not properly chronicled, we don't really know much factually about King Arthur. We've just got the legends, and a lot of the legends are from the Middle Ages, like 500 years afterwards, so they're not really very factually accurate. I mean, the part where King Arthur creates his own empire by conquering the European continent, for example, doesn't seem to have actually happened.
No.
It's a good story. And so
Also, sorry, go ahead.
well, this is the thesis behind the statue. There probably was a guy who fills the denotation of what King Arthur is supposed to have been, and won the battle of was it Baden Hill? I think it's the one.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Battle of Baden or something like that.
But this statue I've actually been to before, and the castle on the rock in Tintagel itself is amazing. I can see why people look at it and think that's mythical, because you see the ruins of a castle on a high up rock, far away from anything. You have to take a wooden bridge just to get to it. You can see why there's this mystical, mythical aspect to his character. But I imagine when people say he engaged in lots of sword fighting, it wasn't quite what the woke people had in mind.
So, and there's nothing sexual about the story and his history.
No.
Well, nothing like unorthodox.
Okay.
I mean, the alliterative death of Arthur is probably the most sort of widely understood version of the King Arthur mythos, in which he basically goes on this conquering crusade across the European continent, and back home, Mordred steals his wife, I think it is, Guinevere, and then he has to come back, fight him. He defeats him, but gets wounded in the battle, then is taken to Avalon, where he passes away.
Are you sure that he steals his wife rather than
his boyfriend? Yeah, no, I mean, it's not necessarily clear. I mean, it just calls her a woman all the way through.
Stole his Nintendo Switch, yeah.
Right. So there was an article here by the Daily Mail saying that King Arthur may have been LGBT because he once wore women's clothing, says Welsh Council.
I agree. What was the context? In which
The context says that the Welsh ruler, that there has been a recent LGBTQ plus timeline as part of a work to celebrate local stories of sexual orientation and gender identity. So the myth wasn't about gender identity?
No.
Generally, no.
Not generally. Okay,
No,
I'll take that box.
Patriarchal presuppositions of sex and gender.
That came from Denbighshire County Council, that included the folk hero in it because he wore women's clothing. Yeah. So what happened with it? Was he doing it for fun? Was he doing it at night, alone?
Wasn't it a disguise?
It's most likely to have been disguised. But the thing is, the King Arthur sort of canon is quite large and over a long period of time. So there are like with the Robin Hood one, there are lots of different stories from lots of different people. I don't remember an example of when King Arthur wore women's clothing, but it's probably to sneak into someone else's castle.
So it definitely wasn't that he was wearing these these clothes, wearing high heels, dancing at night. Okay.
Well, whenever he's been depicted, and all of the mythology has suggested he is a man wearing man's clothes, a knight perhaps.
Doing man things.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But not to other men. Okay. Referencing the legend, the timeline's first entry said that Arthur had dressed in women's clothes in order to visit a woman in the market town of Ruthyn.
Right, so he was sneaking into somewhere, so he disguised himself, therefore he's queer.
Yeah, that's exactly, that's the rationale.
Okay.
That's the rationale.
Okay.
Right, so, and they say, but
clearly King Arthur was a fetishist.
The ruler was recognized by his rival, I believe that's pronounced Hwyl ap Ko.
Probably.
Josh?
Where are you looking?
The first line.
How do you pronounce a Welsh name?
Hwyelap I don't know.
You pronounce it better than myself. Who mocked Arthur's injured knee as he danced in women's attire in a bid to get close to a love interest. Following his lack of tact, Arthur summoned him to court where he bitterly sentenced him to death. Right, and all this comes from
That makes him gay.
There's nothing. Are you sure there's nothing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
There's nothing about it.
Yeah, no.
Right, so
It says that despite no definitive mention of Arthur's sexual persuasion, he has still been included. Well, I mean, he is married to Guinevere, so, I mean...
Yeah, but she was a woman, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He was a man.
Allegedly.
It's usually called heterosexuality.
The timeline was created as a result of Welsh Government Commission training in LGBTQ+ language and history for local libraries, museums and archives.
Wales is just the worst for wokeness now. It's worse than Scotland at this point.
It is. It
Like,
genuinely is.
Bonkers how woke the Welsh have gone. The thing is, the Welsh aren't woke people. Like, you speak to an average Welshman, he's not like some raging SJW. So how are they allowing this to happen to themselves?
I think it's just their councils, isn't it? Sorry, Stelios.
No, please.
That was all.
Yeah, they say that they have a training and they say that this was done to raise awareness and understanding on Wales' diverse population. And they're talking about an
Sorry, just pause. Okay. Imagine you're at the Welsh Council meeting. I'm going to speak in English for simplicity's sake. Right, we need to raise awareness for Wales's diversity. So, okay, Griff, how are we going to do that? Well, we could say King Arthur was a homo. He wore women's clothes once. Doesn't that make him? Yeah, it's like, Jesus.
Good enough for me.
Right,
yeah.
So
That's all it takes.
they have the action plan created by the Welsh government that hopes to tackle inequalities experienced by LGBTQ+ peoples and challenges discrimination.
That's good.
And I have...
You know what's really going to make them change their minds? Yeah, what? King Arthur being gay? Yeah, he was gay. No, that's going to... Oh, come on.
And I have two documents here, two action plans from the Welsh government. It says that they want to build an anti-racist Wales.
Oh, good, yeah.
And let me just show you.
Wales not for the Welsh people. Yeah.
Let me just show you
Did they,
what they're saying.
They suggest that he only hung around the Lady of the Lake to get the sword, and then that was it. He wasn't interested.
He wasn't interested in the Lady of the Lake in any way.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
This is amazing, right? So the overarching purple theme, our purpose is to collectively make a significant change to the lives of Black, Asian and minority ethnic people. Isn't your job to look after the Welsh people?
So we're going to present Arthur as an LGBTQ icon.
So obviously Arthur took it up the bum.
So that's the anti-racist bit, because that's the...
I was just going to say, everything that is presented in an infographic wheel like that is 100% nonsense, by the way.
Yeah, it's woke nonsense.
They love their wheels.
And they're saying that focus areas of desired actions, your experience of racism as a refugee or asylum seeker, your experience of racism in everyday life, your experience of racism when experiencing service delivery.
So if the Amazon delivery driver throws slurs at you,
yeah,
it's the council's business.
Exactly. It's the government. They make it everything their business. Your experience in being part of the workplace, your experience in gaining jobs and opportunities, your experience when you lack visible role models in positions of power.
What happens when all my role models are terrible?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Carl.
I mean, it's not racism, but it is bad.
We have yet another action plan, the advancing LGBTQ+ for Wales. And let's scroll down to page 9 out of 21. I'll show you what they're saying. The overarching aims are a strategic and common thread which runs throughout the specific actions, that they help to identify the commonalities shared by the actions. And what they're saying here is that we will strengthen equality and human rights for LGBTQ+ people. We will seek to influence the UK government to do the same. We will ensure that the rights of LGBTQ+ people are recognised and mainstream across the public sector in Wales. And they are saying we will help to challenge heteronormative and cis-normative assumptions and will require public bodies to appropriately identify and record these identities at the point of access.
They're going to create gay lists.
They're
literally going to come to you and say, look, I need a list of all the gays you have working for you. No, this isn't Nazism. This is the opposite of Nazism. You know, it's like...
I I'm sort of disappointed that in all this woolly language, they've missed out a very important thing to the Welsh people. That's all I'm going to say.
Right. So before we move on, because I found a tendency that some people don't know, I discovered it. Mm-hmm. But before we say this, I have a question to ask you.
Go on.
It's a slight tangent, but an important one. So there lived a certain man in Russia long ago. He was big and strong, and his eyes a flaming glow.
Was he also gay?
Who do I have in mind?
Is that Rasputin?
Yes. So if you want to learn more about the man who led the revolution that topped the regime that Rasputin was affiliated with, check out Lotus and get a subscription with £5 a month to our website and watch beautiful Epochs number 107 on the life of Lenin.
We've been informed by the Welsh Council he was also gay. Lenin, gay.
Yeah,
Stalin,
so
gay.
Consider this.
King Arthur, gay. Robert, gay.
My political commentary as a 12-year-old must have been off the charts.
Yes, literally.
So just as little as £5 a month, you can gain a subscription.
On the side
to
there,
Lotus
Caesar, gay. Pompey, gay. I mean, just...
But you're saying about Caesar, but you have anticipated
Okay,
something.
Caesar actually
because some people called him the Queen of Bithynia.
Yeah, he actually apparently had a gay experience with the King of Bithynia. But,
right, so there has been, for some reason, there are some people who are particularly interested with King Arthur, and they want to present him as gay. I don't know what it is about King Arthur. So I just put King Arthur gay here on YouTube, and I found several videos. I'm not going to scroll down because they're really going for it.
Right, okay.
Because that series there, the Merlin TV series, I actually watched that one and quite enjoyed it. And other than them having...
Watched all of it.
Yeah, other than having a rather swarthy Guinevere, they sort of kept to the spirit of the myths with some creative licenses.
The 2004 King Arthur film actually isn't bad either. No one in it's gay, though.
But if I scroll down, I see them doing several stuff, and he's turning him... like
no, Samson, no.
No. But it's on YouTube. It is YouTube. But anyway, so apparently, you know what's gay Arturiana?
No.
Excuse me?
You know what's gay Arturiana? It's a genre of fiction.
Of gay King Arthur.
Oh, okay.
So I have here Goodreads a list of gay Arturiana, which is a retelling of Arthurian legend, but in LGBT.
I didn't know this was ever a thing.
Gay. Just...
There are
like
more than
parody.
7 books. Hang on, how long is this list, Stelios?
It's a huge list.
Really?
It's like something
Pan
you see on
not
South
intended.
Park.
Yeah, it has tens of books. It's
Arthur, but it's all gay.
There's something about that's why I'm saying.
I'm getting some serious reservations about how people are spending their time here. If there are almost 100 books about King Arthur being gay,
Suddenly I'm against capitalism.
Yeah, so there are
that's
several.
all it took, was it?
Did Lenin allow this to be produced?
What is it about King Arthur that ignites people's imagination and
they
sets
too
them
want
on
to?
fire?
They just want to pull their sword from the stone, you know.
I mean, there's lots of like masculine concerns in King Arthur about loyalty and heroism, and empire. Maybe that.
He had a round table with a bunch of hunks around him.
Yeah, basically.
So you see, I have some summaries here because there's something about it that people get excited with. We have Gwen and Art are not in love.
I had no idea this existed.
Heartstopper meets A Knight's Tale in this queer medieval rom-com that knew about love, friendship, and being brave enough to change the course of history.
This is just fan fiction becoming books, isn't it?
This is
and you have here Guinevere touching a lady and Arthur touching a man who I don't know who that is.
Well, it says 100 years after, so it's their descendants.
Yeah.
But gay.
We have Tristan and Lancelot, A Tale of Two Knights, which is the queer reimagining of an Arthurian legend.
Yeah.
Those don't look like English names either. Pirochetti and Beeler. That sounds Italian and sort of Germanic.
Some gay foreigners are like, I'm going to make this thing gay.
Oi.
Before they can sort through their complicated feelings, an unexpected dark force appears, bringing what just might be the end of Camelot.
Recommended by the Welsh Council.
Yeah, we have here gay knights and horny heroes, tales from the court of King Arthur.
I can't believe that managed to get 3 stars.
Yeah, and they say we really know it's all about the men. It says, "Come, gentle readers, and venture into the world of yore."
You know this is going to be a cheesy read, because if you scroll up, you can see his name's literally Goda, as in
and we
cheese.
have here, is that King Arthur holding someone? Is like King Arthur out of a P. Diddy party. It said, "Come, gentle readers, and every warrior loves a good joust. Welcome to the world of gay knights and horny heroes.
So
God save the king."
Yet another thing they've debauched. Brilliant.
They've probably subverted the meaning of slaying as well to the Gen Z definition.
And I have our last one here to show you Mordred and the King. This is the worst axe I have ever seen. And they're saying something like, "On a hunting trip to the border of Wales, Arthur and his party lose their way and end up in Morgan's realm. Visiting her castle, Arthur is glimpsed by young Mordred, who falls instantly hopelessly in love with
son.
Well, before he can..." He says, "Newly empowered by his experience." It's all
Hence
about
the betrayal.
male empowerment or something.
But this is the scope of the betrayal, is that he's betrayed by his own son, and he kills his own son in battle, and he's slain by him. I mean, it's meant to be a massive tragedy. Fucking absolute.
So they've not even
brain.
bothered to learn the basic premise of the legend.
Yeah, it's the forbidden love, because it says, "Arthur welcomes him warmly to Camelot, and a tender, loving relationship soon blossoms between them, but there's opposition to their love." Stuff like that.
Yeah, amazing.
Anyway, so there are several historical figures who are portrayed as LGBTQ. So Caesar, they say bisexual. Some called him the Queen of Bithynia.
Probably not, though.
Yeah, Alejandro Magno, they say queer. We've all watched Netflix, or not.
He was Greek, therefore gay.
Sorry, Stella.
Sorry, Stella.
And there's something. There's yet another thing. Source Pink News. We have gay and bisexual royals, and they have a list here: Queen Anne of Great Britain, King William II of England.
Fair, he was.
William Rufus.
He was killed with a red hot poker up his bum.
King Richard the Lionheart.
No reason to think that.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, he had a wife.
I wonder how many.
But Pink News says so.
King Richard the Lionheart was a famous womanizer. Definitely not.
I wonder how many of these people actually have children and wives. I know that doesn't necessarily stop someone from dabbling, but it's sort of evidence to the counter, isn't it?
But
what's their thing there?
Yeah, because for the sake of diplomacy, he allied with Philip II of France.
Yeah, that's.
Ate every day at the same table, Carl. They ate at the same table.
Well, they slept at the same bed at night. It's like, yeah, but I mean, there was no central heating.
And at night, the beds did not separate them.
Sharing beds was completely normal. This doesn't make them gay.
King William III of England. King Edward II.
So it's been a sort of dictatorship of homosexuality then.
Queen Elizabeth I of England and Ireland. They say King Richard II.
No, why would Richard II?
Why James the First? Why James the First?
Fourth, sixth. Sorry. Oh no, it's James
sixth of Scotland first.
Yeah, I don't. Not a common historical interpretation.
Did he think he had the divine right to the bodies of other people?
You've got me.
He had a very different interpretation to the divine right of kings. The divine right to kings, I think it was. Sorry.
Henry VIII. Sorry, Henry VIII.
He was such a misogynist that he must have been gay.
I just of all the people to come up on the list,
Famous for his wives, yeah.
Henry VIII, again, massive womanizer.
Divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
To be fair to them, even Pink News realizes that this
despite
is
his obvious love of women. Yeah.
There's little proof to. Okay, so we have several other figures here.
To be fair, that last one was French, so just throwing that.
We have also the Frederick of Prussia. Anyway, they make several. They list several people. If it lists also Marquis de Lafayette, I don't know. And
come back.
Yeah.
From the hero of the American and French revolutions, bisexual.
Also,
that's the important part.
Yeah. Also, I've heard several people say that King Arthur didn't exist. Several historians, and also, yeah. So why would they do this?
Because Pennywise is a gay ally. That's why.
So
they need everything to just be pro-gay.
I think at this point we know that when we're dealing with governments who are just having all these plans, and when they're saying that they weren't going to play identity politics and they want to boost and empower people by just having people in positions of power, whether in history or in positions of power in institutions, we're most probably talking nonsense.
I hope you appreciated that segment from the podcast to the Lotus Eaters, and if you want to see what else we're up to, you can watch our series Lads Hour, where we tend to have the most fun. This one was on about Batman and Robin, the 1997 film, and it was hilarious. And if you want to see all the other things we're putting out, you can always follow us on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.